when you have to go to a split call like that and you're not quite sure, what are your thoughts in that? It probably feels like an eternity and it's a few seconds.
Yeah, well, I took the fight on 2 weeks' notice. Guy's super long with a ton of power, counter striker. So I couldn't just go rushing in there. I had to kind of probe, false starts a lot. The volume was kind of low, but man, I just felt a couple of those punches, and I realized quickly that's why a lot of people don't make it out of the fights with him. So I had to be a little careful. I know it was close the first 2 rounds. Going to the third, my coaches told me, hey, we got to get this one. A lot of crowd support out there, especially at the beginning. Going to the third round, I felt it. Felt awesome to be fighting in my hometown. Kind of pushed me that third round to keep grinding. Was able to win that third round. I think that's what gave me the fight right there.
How did it feel walking out, man? Did you feel that pop from everybody?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, I've been all around the world. Most of the time, I'm the other guy.
Yeah.
And man, I saw so many familiar faces, and just the excitement when I was getting announced was incredible.
Like, what kind of familiar faces? Like, are you seeing people like you went to high school with or weird things like that?
Obviously, the gym support. So I called Pura Vida with Jake Clip. You know, a lot of up-and-comers. Everybody was showing up tonight. I saw a lot of familiar teammates. And then, yeah, friends, family, people I went to high school with, all sorts of people came out of the woodwork, you know, giving me Facebook messages during the week saying that they were going to come in from out of state to go to this fight and stuff. It was crazy.
You were a pretty big underdog. I don't know if you look at that kind of stuff. You were like 3-1 dog.
You know, I used to look at that stuff, and I don't look at any of that stuff anymore. Comments, all these, you know, trolls and stuff on the internet nowadays. Anybody can say whatever they want. Hey, I'm the one that's going out there and exposing myself for y'all to see, and I'm the one that's putting it on the line every day and going out there. So I'm not going to worry about what other people say. I don't even look at the odds.
How much better would it feel though to know that?
Hey, now that I know it, thank you. Yeah, and he's a good prospect, man. I felt him in the clinch. I felt him on the ground, like it kind of landed in like that modified half guard position. Normally I can just stuff that leg down, start passing right away. This kid knew his stuff everywhere.
What was it like stepping up on short notice? I mean, this time last month, you, of course, were coming still off the loss at Sage earlier this summer. Didn't have a fight booked. The UFC was coming to Milwaukee. You weren't on the card. I don't know why, but I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to take a little bit of time off. You know, I don't want to go rushing into fights after taking some damage and stuff. I want to make sure I get better. I want to make sure my brain heals, all that kind of stuff, right? So I was in no rush to get back. And then it became time where, okay, I'm ready to take that next fight. My manager and I were thinking maybe like February, but with the UFC coming in December, I really wanted to get on this. Card was already kind of filling up. Saw that there was a welterweight fight. Eric Koch, you know, for whatever reason, coming up to that weight class and has also been a little inactive. So I wanted to stay ready. And, you know, my team, you know, over at Pura Vida, we were keeping a close eye on things and just making sure that they were getting me ready in case something came up. We've had a lot of fighters with, sorry to cut you off, we had a lot of fighters with big fights coming up. I got to be on the mats to help them get ready for their fights. Guys fighting for LFA and UFC and stuff like that. So I'm always on the mats, I'm always staying semi-ready, and if the call came in, I could take it.
Do you have any idea why they didn't already have you on the card without someone getting hurt?
I have no idea.
Did you identify Eric Koch as, like, early on as somebody like, hey man, this might be a guy that might be our way in?
You're always keeping an eye on the weight classes, right? And then I see, okay, there's a welterweight matchup, and it's Eric Koch, who was a 45er, then 55, now 70, and the fact that he's been, you know, in and out as active. You just look at the data, and so I thought, man, I better stay ready a little bit. You know, I got to keep my weight in a good area. I'm going to be on the mats more than normal, and sure enough, that's what happened. My manager called me and said, "You guys called it. Eric's got to pull out, so it's your fight." And of course, I was going to say yes. I even forgot who the opponent was. I mean, I was just like, yeah, I don't care who it is. I'm fighting in Milwaukee.
What's your 2019 need to look like for you now? Now, you know, coming off a big one like this, the kind of the emotional fact of fighting at home, taking it on short notice, pulling an upset. What does the mean?
That was my 30th sanctioned fight. I feel like I've got the experience now. I'm turning 32 next week. I feel like with what we do, this is the prime of my athletic career. You know, these next couple of years, I really want to push and keep moving up the ladder and reach my full potential. So I want an active, I want an active 2019. See where it takes me.
You got the win, but a small amount of time to affect you at all, to train to get ready for the fight.
I've taken a lot of short notice fights. I think all 4 of my UFC wins were taken on 3 weeks or less notice. So I don't know, when the pressure's on, also another time when maybe my job was in jeopardy, fucking show up.
Would you have taken this fight if it wasn't so important to you being in Milwaukee? Would you have taken this one in 2 weeks?
I don't know. Well, I mean, a lot of variables there to consider, hard to say. But with what was happening, I said yes, I had to.
Just out of curiosity, you said this was your 30th sanctioned fight. Ballpark, how many unsanctioned fights have you?
Maybe double, but none in the last 10 years, so that's what's important. Grown up a little bit. It was a good outlet for those of you that maybe have some issues with that.
So what would your record be in unsanctioned?
Undefeated, of course. Come on.
Good answer.
A lot to 0.
Good answer.
Are you a superstitious guy? I mean, you said that anytime you take a short notice fight, you've won. If you have to have a 10-week camp next time,
I grew up playing baseball, actually, and baseball was like my favorite sport growing up. Pretty superstitious, you know, like sometimes if I ate a worm before a game, we'd win, so then I keep eating worms before games, like that kind of shit. Like, I used to be, so I try to cut all that out now. I don't look at streaks or what kind of socks I was wearing that week when I won, or, you know, none of that stuff. I knew, hey, it's game time. You got to show up, you know, and that extra little bit, you know, that third round when you got to grind, you got the crowd support. I felt like I had to give that extra little inch for Milwaukee, for my team, and that little stuff helps.
You're second baseman. What position do you play? I'm going second base.
I was pitcher, shortstop.
Pitcher.
So you were the go-to guy. Those are usually the two best players. The position's the best place.
Yeah, when you're a kid, you know, that's what they kind of stick the better guys at, I suppose.
That's good.
Any other questions, guys?
Thanks, man.
All good?
Thanks, Zach.
All right, thanks, guys.